Back in bold. Good, we're not glitching. Mr. Bolivia. 3 months?
Yeah, sounds about right.
Not
Sounds
many
about right.
Americanos have stayed in Bolivia for 3 months, my friend.
I don't know. I'm a trendsetter. Let's just say that.
You're that dude,
I'm
huh?
sure there's. I'm sure there's plenty before me. Just not. It's just me and Jack pretty much hanging out here. A little bit of Graham.
And your northeast Brazil plans have been booked, no?
They've been booked. They have been booked.
I know you're having a lot of trouble with Brazilian shenanigans. You tweet about it. You said it was a failed state, or what'd you say?
It might be. Yeah. I mean, Jesus Christ. I can't even pick my dang seat on the airplane without going through like 6 different hoops. So, yeah, it just seems annoying.
Yeah, Brazil's got a lot of problems. Most of the time, money solves it, so you should be fine. But it's part of the madness that goes on here. You have to internalize it, the beleza, and get over the inconveniences. Unfortunately, but after a while, you can't do it. You go freaking crazy, like me. I'm at my wits' end. I had a nice refreshment in Rio and Gramado, little vacation, so I can do another 2 months. But holy shit, like it's a wicked place here for sure.
Well, we'll see what is in store. I'm excited, but we'll see. We'll see.
Zach, what the hell is going on? We had a long phone call the other day. We had the stabbing on the train, the Ukrainian girl, and we had the freaking 100 million camera angles of Charlie Kirk getting shot. We see online now conservatives are cancel culture, all these people getting them fired from jobs. I mean, it seems like it's a mad world, Mad Max. I mean, we're away and far away from it right now, but online it's like, holy shit.
Yeah, I mean, I think I need to take a couple days offline, off the internet. That's all I'm seeing. I don't know. This is like in my opinion, it's like our JFK, Martin Luther moment of our generation. Like seeing that it's not what people should see. It's a disgrace, to be honest, to anyone, if it were to happen to anyone. But yeah, I don't know. I think there's a lot of crazy stuff going on. It feels a little bit better that we are outside of the country, not having to deal with it directly, right? Having to deal with possibly direct counterparts or friends or anyone who may deal with the opposition, I guess you could say. But yeah, I don't know. What's your thought on it? There's a lot. It's crazy. We're living through some insane times right now. I don't think people recognize that, but we are like living through some crazy stuff.
Yeah, first off, obviously, rest in peace to Mr. Charlie Kirk. I mean, I wasn't like a huge fan of him or watched him too much, but I think what he did was pretty cool for the conservative side about debating people and having those discussions, which is obviously healthy for a democracy. Um, but what's been coming to my head recently, I tweet about it, is like, dude, now you see people that are actually like successful in life participating in the cancel culture thing. It's not just weirdos in their basement and getting people canceled. It's like dudes who run stuff, who have lots of money, who have freaking software and all these weird things that they're going at people right now. I've never seen like the conservative type people get this angry. And like I saw some databases like 40,000 names in there, and they're sharing it with all these different companies, so these people never get hired again. I mean, it's taking the whole cancel culture thing from, lose your job and then you go away for a month and everyone forgets about you to like forever. That these people are going to be marked is what they're trying to do. I mean, to me, it's a little hypocritical, but I think it's gotten to that point where like the floodgates have opened and it's all out war. Like people are pissed. People have, resorted to no more playing nice guy.
As they should be, to be honest. I think people deserve to lose their jobs if they're that terrible about wanting someone to be murdered in front of their family on live television. Like, that's insane, in my opinion. I don't think that you should want that for anyone, no matter what political aisle or where you sit. It's not something that the American mind, is what I've seen on Twitter as well. It's not something that the individual, a person, should see. I saw like even when the assassinations of like JFK and MLK, like people didn't see that until like months later. We're living it live, which is crazy. So yeah, I don't mind the repercussions. I think people should get fired if they don't have morality. And so I know we kind of had that conversation as well, which is like at some point, I mean, this kind of sounds bad. At some point, I thought people were just like low IQ in a sense, like maybe they just listen to one news channel and that's all they listen to. Like, I don't know. I think this has opened people's minds up to there actually is like quite a bit of evil in some people over the last 5 years since 2020. I think people should have stood up in 2020, but we have to come to this point, which is why we've gotten to this point. So it's I don't know. For me, it's a little wild.
Yeah, a couple things there. I don't know if I totally agree. Okay, obviously I think these people are evil, but the online versus the internet is really messed up. Like it's not real world to a lot of people, and they don't feel they
Yeah.
have repercussions. Obviously, they're not nice people if they're doing that, but I don't want to be the dude that hated cancel culture and now, okay, we have to go ruin these people's lives for saying obviously horrible things, okay? And some of them had decent points. Do I agree with them? No. Some were like, okay, well, hey, this is what he said, and he was all for this, so like, what goes around comes around, okay? I don't think that's, in my opinion, true, but I can see what they're trying to say, right? So yeah, it's weird. It's a really weird space we're in right now, but I worry, okay, just like they did before, when does the slippery slope end with the free speech? Okay? So now it's like, okay, some big fascist government or whatnot comes in and says, yeah, you're right. If people say this, they need to go to prison. No, we can't push it to that level. Just like before when, if you supported someone or you said one thing that you didn't want to bake a cake, for a gay couple because it was against your religion and you lost everything and they attacked you. That shouldn't be like that. It should be your right to have freedom of speech. Hopefully you're not an idiot and crazy, but this is what America is built on, okay? And we have to be able to have these discussions no matter how crazy and disgusting and so forth it is. The other point is, dude, I was thinking about it. The last 5 years, I remember when the Black Lives Matter thing went crazy in the 2020 summer. I was in Genoa, Italy, okay? And I woke up and to see the live streams of the freaking Minneapolis on fire, and I was pissed, obviously, like just disgusted. That's where we're from. We're from Minnesota. And I remember going out of my apartment to go explore the city, and like 3 African beggars came by me. And at this point, there's no tourist in Italy. It was just open to Italy. So they were all still closed or whatever, and then opened up more later in June, I believe. And so these 3 Africans came up to me. There's a lot of African beggars in Italy. They're like, hey, give me money, sir. Give me money. And I'm like, no money. But then I was hearing like all this commotion like around the corner. So I keep walking. And then I stumble upon like 300 Italians, okay? Most of them white Italians because we're in the north of Italy. And like these 3 token black dudes on stage speaking about Black Lives Matter for USA. It was a Black Lives Matter protest there. I'm just thinking about like, what is going on here? Like these African beggars, want money from me. No one's paying attention to them, but these people are so concerned about, the George Floyd thing over there and the protest. But that's 5 years ago, dude. Like, how much has changed in 5 years? Like, the pendulum? I mean, now you have freaking open neo-Nazis on Twitter and people agreeing with them, and we're it's like,
Yeah.
oh, now you got Kirk, and now you got Fuentes. Fuentes is the biggest voice right now, okay? This dude was like, everything he says basically is what 4chan said 10 years ago. 4chan, the poll board, that was like, no, you can't say this or you'll be ostracized from society, your family. These are mainstream talking points now. In 5 freaking years. It's crazy to me how much things can change.
But 5-10 years ago, you could have said the same stuff that Charlie Kirk was saying, and it wasn't even considered a problem, an issue. There was open debate.
Yes, it was, dude. People are getting freaking
I didn't
canceled left and right. Every
But I think
business,
Kirk is like he's literally a moderate. He literally
Nowadays,
the
he's
main
considered a moderate.
the main basis of his conversation is literally bringing religion to the youth. Trying to open them up to religion. Like that's his whole foundation. So it's like it's crazy. I don't know. Some of the stuff I've seen on where people are like, he's a racist, he's a homophobe. He's got like a full chapter of employees, a part of his company, Turning Point, that are all gay black men, like that work for him. He brought a ton of like African Americans to the White House every year so that they could learn from other black conservatives. So it's like all this weird stuff that, it's just it's the social media clipper art. It's like once you actually look into it, you actually look into what he was about, who he's trying to help, it doesn't even make sense. But I agree with you on the freedom of speech side of things, which is like, if you start, I think there's common ground there. If you start taking people's rights away or possibly firing them from their jobs or their careers because of their freedom of speech, then what, do we become the hypocrites? That makes a little bit of a sense there, but I don't know.
Well, hold on about this Kirk thing. So, dude, 5 years ago, every organization or corporation had the rainbow logo for the Pride Month, right?
Oh,
now
okay,
there's nobody has it. Now you have freaking the richest man in the world and all these politicians saying goblins, evil. I mean, bro, this is insane. You're
saying it's the wake up. It's wake up.
We were
People are waking
muzzled.
up.
What, like the cancel or the whole woke culture started like 2012, 14, and heated up and got super crazy come like COVID. You know what I mean? And now it's like freaking. You see boomers posting stuff about a certain religion. I mean, it's like, what the hell is going on? You know what I mean? So the only way, I think there's nefarious intentions or actors behind all this. I think the Chinese bots, the Russian bots. Obviously civil war is the way to defeat USA. So divide and conquer. But I don't know what to think about it. Everyone says, the buzzword now is the overtone window about how like the politics shifts and now you can say more extreme stuff and it's going this way and that way. And either way, here's my problem though, with all the dudes on the far right. I think the far right, okay, the fascist type people are no different than the freaking commies, okay? They want big government. They want someone to tell them what to do. They want to learn how to shit, eat, work. They want everything solved for them. Everyone else is the reason they're not happy. All their problems are. You know what I mean? So I dislike both, okay? Because both of them get rid of my freedom, for one, and tell me what to do. And that's a problem for a capable individual who wants freedom, okay? Does most of society probably need that? We saw there in COVID. A lot of people want it. Not only need it, but they really, really want it. So I get that part, but I can't buy into wanting the Fourth Reich to happen because that's not what would make me happy. For some of these dorks and dudes, yeah, they would love that. Now, do I agree we have an immigration problem? Do I agree we need to be more... I love living in conservative societies, for sure. So I see kind of both things, and I try to pick and choose and whatnot, but I think now we're getting really separated. You choose this side or that side. Kirk is the separator thing. Now it's like you're all in on the far right or you're all in on the far left. Like that's what's happening right now.
Yeah, it's kind of the turning point, right? Or everyone's kind of like, oh crap. You see you see a lot of the people that qualified themselves as Democrats and are now like, I didn't even know my party could be this hateful. Like this has exposed me to being a Republican, or now I'm only voting Republican because of how hateful this stuff is. I think it's a turning point. Now the question is, will this turning point be the turning point of more destruction and more anger and fighting anger with anger and causing more civil unrest and division? Or is it going to be a turning point where like people actually unite and things get better? And that's the real problem. Like that's what we're kind of in store. I don't really know how to think about it, to be honest. I do think that the timeline has absolutely shifted. A lot of things that I've been talking about over the last 6 months to a year, I think this is kind of the breaking point. Like, I think this is almost a distraction in a way for a lot of things that are going to be happening behind the scenes. They're going to be starting to pull triggers and pull different moves, but utilize this type of division as a distraction as well. We're all focused on this, but hey, we're going to get these things done in the background. And
same thing with 9/11, the Patriot Act. Okay,
yeah.
You still got to freaking take off your shoes. Do they still do that in the USA? You have to take off your shoes or no?
Not TSA pre-check. I don't know.
Okay, yeah, but I think normal people have to do that. Crazy. I did like the tweet. I think it was that Don Jr. Who said, Hey, notice how there's no stores looted or cities on fire because of this. Over the
Yeah.
Ukrainian girl. That's another thing I want to talk about because I didn't get into that. The Ukrainian girl, the Kirk thing. That's a big tell. Okay, like freaking the Black Lives Matter thing. Everything burnt down, which is sick.
Yeah.
Not happy at all. So I like that tweet. But then Trump even said in the little interview, he's like, I don't even care about coming together anymore. I think it was on Fox and Friends. So like, obviously I think that him and Kirk were somewhat close from what I heard. I know he was like a loyal supporter throughout the whole thing from 2015 to the getting impeached, and when he was all out of the spotlight, Trump, Kirk was there. So I think he has a lot of loyalty to that guy, and he's freaking pissed. But yeah, dude,
I mean, he was a large reason why
the
Trump
young
got
kids got
elected.
voted. Yeah, young people voted. The campuses.
I actually spoke with some of my family today, and like they don't even really know much about Kirk. They heard about it, but they don't know much about him. So it's a large part of the younger generation, which I would also say the younger generation does lean towards the left more liberal, more. You
Not
don't
the
think
boys.
so?
The boys don't, dude. You see freaking memes nonstop on the social medias from the Zoomers. The women, it's like they show those graphs. It's going like
I mean,
this.
you don't see 50-year-old people trying to become transgenders and all this stuff.
That's what I'm saying.
Like you
One
don't see them
side
becoming
is going
furries and all this random shit. Like,
One side is going extremely right. One side is going extremely left. That's what's happening with the Zoomers, and the rest of
Yeah.
the generations are starting to do it as well. But the Ukrainian thing, so we didn't bring that up. I mean, that I had a tweet. I mean, I was freaking, dude. Nowhere else in the world does that happen. That it's not about robbing her.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not about doing bad stuff to her sexually. It's not about revenge killing. It's not about even witchcraft. It was straight up psychotic, crazy, stab someone, don't take nothing, leave. You don't see that anywhere else in the world. Nowhere else.
yeah.
Like I don't know if it's because America is the land of extremes, so you get crazy, unbelievably sick stuff like this, and then some of the best stuff in the world. But
I mean, I don't think
was
it has
thinking
anything to do with Like, how does someone just
the
stab
the
someone in the
land,
neck?
the curses,
So many.
the blood. Something is crazy in USA because it's the only place on earth this happens. Someone's gonna be like, "Well, Africa." No, dude, Africa. You don't just randomly do this. You rob someone, you do other things to them. You do maybe witchcraft, but you don't just freaking on a train stab the hell out of someone and then walk off like nothing. I mean, it's
No, I
freaking
agree. I
crazy.
agree. But why? Why is someone doing that and they're not arrested for it? Like, how are you let go? Like, how are you not put on trial? How are you, like?
Isn't he in jail or something, or he's on?
He's like in a psych
Psych ward.
hospital,
Yeah. Well, I mean,
but they let him off with no bail essentially into a psych hospital. So it's like, how are you a
still, they're
14?
under arrest?
Yeah, but how are you a 14 count offender and you're not just like
Oh, that's terrible too. Yeah, he should have been gone.
like
after
that?
three.
It doesn't make
That's
any
what-
like that doesn't make any sense. Like,
Nowhere in
I
the
don't
rest of
know.
the world does 14-person account offender, unless they're rich and they know everyone, not either get put in a hole somewhere and never thought about again, killed. I mean, you don't just keep getting let on the streets. That's what I'm saying. Like the overall thing
Yeah.
is, this doesn't happen anywhere else in the world. And now you're talking about the richest country in the world, supposedly the most developed country. This happens a lot. Not this exact situation, but just crazy shit. Like the shooter in Minnesota. You know what I mean? You see that? I watched this video. It's freaking weird, dude. And he had he
Super
drew
weird,
in his
yeah.
journal about him looking in the mirror. And it's like a freaking demon in the mirror. I was like, what is going on? I mean, where else do you see this?
no,
Like,
it's sick.
I-
It's sick. It is sick. It's messed up. Like, how is this happening? First of all, like, why is it becoming normal? Is the problem? Is the media just making it seem normal? Is the media the
See a
sole
lot more.
opposition, of us, of the people, the true division of us? The reason why people can somehow create an opinion on Kirk or whoever based off of short clips that they have no context of, that they just clip at 7 seconds, and then they don't get any more. Like, is that truly the division? And why? Like, why this is all? I don't know. It's very. Now people need to seriously put on their thinking caps and have their self-awareness and do their own research and think for themselves more than ever.
So here's what I say though. So like Washington D.C., which I'm happy Trump cleaned it up. They say it's way different, but if you look at the statistics, it was on the low, like it was going down. This is what all the liberals say. Like, what are you doing? This is nowhere near as dangerous as it once was, right? But then on the flip end, I know someone who went to New York City late last year, and in their mind, oh my God, this is gonna be the most developed city in the world. You know, I've seen all these movies. This is like magic. And they get there and they say, oh my God, this is worse than freaking Venezuela and Cuba and Colombia combined. Like, I don't see any Americans. I see dudes on the street drugged out. Like, it's dangerous. People are harassing me. And their mind is shattered, like the illusion. So, okay, yeah, they say DC crime's going down. And, but then, you know, I have people telling me, like, oh my God, this broke everything I ever thought about New York City. So it's like, where's the balance? Where's the mix? I, for one, for sure agree, get rid of the freaking losers. Okay, how do we do that? We got to figure it out. You know, we did it before somehow, so we got to get back to that. Don't let them keep getting out of jail. Like, it's ridiculous. Some sort of rehab program, but we pay for this. The taxpayer has to pay for every freaking thing, right? So
Yeah.
I don't know. Like the Middle Eastern said, the freaking Taliban, all them, they said the USA is the devil, man. Babylonia, like this is where it all manifests and. Shit, maybe we're seeing some of it because it's wild.
I mean, like I said, we're going through times that are like straight up in the history books. We're going through a massive change that honestly none of our family or parents went through, and I don't think people recognize that. But that's my take. But with the take on New York, I'll be honest. Like, yes, in some major cities, because they're so big, you're always going to have homeless people. They're major cities. There's people around. They're always going to be peddling. They're always going to be doing that. But I was in New York City when we were playing Rutgers for baseball, and I visited New York City. And I had the same thought, though. Oh, New York City's going to be great. But there's a nice street, one street, and then there's a shit-ass street with a ton of trash and homeless people on the next. That's New York. That was 8 years ago. And that's every major city. Just like when you're in a major city in Latin America or Europe, you can be on a very nice street and then another street is a shithole. You know, you have your pockets. So I'm not going to say that like that's normal in the U.S., that it's like falling apart, but I think that's just being in a major city. I mean, a lot of homeless people and a lot of
country in the world. You're talking about the richest city in the freaking world. You would think they can clean up like freaking a 40th of the GDP of some Chinese city that is perfectly crystal clear. Obviously, the Asians are different with their mindset and so forth, but
that is something we need to talk about too, though.
Yeah, but dude, you can't compare Latin America to freaking USA unless you were saying it's being Latinized. You see all the old photos.
No, I'm just saying you can't talk down on some of these U.S. cities when it's like it's a major city. Millions and millions of people, you know, live in New York City. It's massive. You can't have every street being pristine, and it was like that 8 years ago. It's not like that's a thing now where it's like all of a sudden just started being shitty. You know, it was that was my first perception of New York City when I went to it. I was like, oh, this is cool. And then I go down another street. I'm like, what the hell is going on this street? Like,
and that's the other point of the freedom topic. Okay, so if you want to have some dystopian fascist state, can you get all the innovation and the craziness that comes with the trade-off of freedom? You know, the negative parts of it, right? So there is a balance on there, but I don't know. I think if any country can do it, the USA can clean their own freaking streets. Like, you can do that. It's not that hard to get losers out of there. Go make a freaking separate suburb way out there and let them go over there. Like, it can be done, dude.
Yeah, if we used our own tax dollars for our own country, we could easily do that.
Minneapolis is way different now than it once was, for sure.
100%. 100% it is. I agree with that.
Yeah.
But if the U.S. government was keen on using our own tax dollars and our own debt to utilize in our own country, we wouldn't be having this conversation. But we love to send money all over the world, where half of that money could have solved 5 of these problems that we talk about.
But that keeps the empire going too. There's a nuanced conversation on that, just like the U.S. aid, where everyone's like, "Oh my God, so why are we giving $5 million to some Kenyan backwater HIV thing?" Well, because it's soft power, okay? So we have control over there. We have the trade, the shipping. They're going to use the dollar. Like, there's nuance to all these different things. But I think a lot of money is wasted overseas with some fraud and so forth, of course. But they act like we should be isolationist country is freaking crazy, okay? Because the reason we are so freaking rich and the reason why we have the world reserve currency is because we do all these things and run trade and have our hands in every different country. You know what I mean? Like that's like the Ukrainian Russian thing. Okay, obviously it's a proxy war. Obviously there's nefarious people in there trying to diminish the CIA, trying to get rid of Russia and whatever. But this is for global power. Like this war is gonna help the Americans out in the long run to stay the top dog. You have to do shitty stuff as the top dog. Every freaking empire in the past, the British, the Spanish, the Portuguese, the Mongols, the Ottomans, the Romans. I mean, list any single one of them. They did dirty work, and the USA has done it more benevolent than anyone else in the history of humanity. When Rome subjugated Gaul, they killed 1 million people and they enslaved another 1 million people. Okay, and we look at Rome as the greatest freaking civilization of all time that shaped Western society. We named all our kings after Caesar, all our freaking top dogs.
Yeah, and what happens with all of them? They all fall.
Yeah, of course. But
okay, so you got to change it up a little bit. No, I get it. You have to do certain things, but not the extent of the country. I mean, look at where we're at now. Like, we had to hit this breaking point, right? And people are still going to find ways to complain, but we can't just keep sending money everywhere else and not focus on the things in our own country. And it's like now it's like the people are starting to try to band together in a way to focus on the things that need to be changed in our country. But you also got to have some government buy-in to that too. So I'm not a huge historian. I know you definitely know more about history than I do. But yeah, I'm more on the economic history than the true history of a lot of other things.
No, but the Dalio shit, I don't buy into it now with what's going on, world freaking economies, nukes, all that kind of shit. I think we can easily last longer than Rome, a spinoff. The dollar's not going to be replaced in fucking 20 years like people say. Maybe in a century.
Why do you think they're good? That's why I talk about the Genius Act, the Clarity Act. Why do you think we're trying
the USD in a different form? That's what I'm talking about.
Exactly. They want to offload the debt. Why do you think? Okay, during 2020, why do you think we printed $4 to $6 trillion? And guess what? Because of that, now what's the Genius Act or the Big Beautiful Bill going to do? Another automatic 8 million at the minimum up to 12 or 8 trillion at the minimum up to another 14 trillion, almost double the amount, because the same amount doesn't do much for the money in circulation. So they're going to try to put as much money in circulation, try to offload that into something like the Genius Act, into something like USDT or USDC. So then when the world is utilizing your currency, you still get to be the world reserve currency. That's why Trump and this administration is also trying to be the crypto capital of the world, because they want to sustain that power. Yes, but what does the Clarity Act and Genius Act do? It allows stablecoins or banks who are in cahoots with the government to then utilize stablecoins and issue crypto ETFs to their clients, because they can still have some type of control or power under that. So, I mean, yeah, is it going to happen in the next year or two? Probably not. Is it going to happen in 5, 10, 15 years? I personally do think so.
USD in any form is what I'm talking about. That's going to control the world for as long as we have the top military, because especially the coin USDT or whatever, you make $1 into a virtual coin, which CBDs is scary and all that kind of stuff. But dude, a lot of countries, their citizens are going to dive and do whatever they can to get that. It's going to be way more accessible than it is to get dollars now. So many countries, Argentina, they would limit how much dollars you can buy. So when the dollar spikes, oh my God, they try to buy as much as they can. And then Milei took the limit out for a while, and people are making so much freaking money because their peso is worthless, obviously, right? So imagine now the USD is available for everyone without the government intervention. You can just buy it through crypto, online, through whatever platform. Every other economy is going to be on the USD. Like, that is what's going to happen. And that's the idea of keeping the freaking empire going for way more years. Freaking Rome didn't go into an empire until 500 years, No,
I'm agreeing with you. I'm agreeing with you. I think that is the plan, to keep the strength of the dollar worldwide. So
and they can't just fuck over their citizens, too. So we're going to get a little UBI.
But they can.
Money will be converted. We'll be somewhat okay.
That's the whole point of it. They're gonna utilize the current fiat system to extend the system by printing money and putting more money in circulation, then transition it. I mean, the people with assets, the rich will get richer, the poor will get poorer, the middle class will divide. I mean, that's kind of what I think their plan is, in a way.
Yeah, but then how do they keep it going if freaking 90% of their population is fed up with them? Then the
UBI,
ship is over.
AI. I mean, go look at Sam Altman talking about.
Okay, so they're
That's what
going
I
to
also
replace the
think.
people.
I
Yeah,
mean,
and
I wouldn't. I
are
don't
they going
know
to
how
keep
much
their
about
citizens
replacing the
happy?
people, but they're pushing it into like this. What was the word that you said about? Kind of like Ready Player One in a way. They're like, oh, if people can get universal basic income, they're going to be able to focus on fine arts like the Renaissance. They're going to be able to be creative. It's like, well, no, people would already be creative. No, they're just going to be sitting with
True.
headsets on in their rooms and become blobs. Like, if you're creative and you want to create art and be creative, you'd already be doing that. Universal basic income isn't just it's gonna give you a paycheck to live, but you're gonna be in a one bedroom studio apartment paid for by the government with, freaking
3 meals a day, a shit car.
goggles on, living in virtual reality like Ready Player One. People aren't gonna be more Renaissance and creative in that
Well,
sense, but
I agree with you.
that's what they're trying to push with the AI stuff. Like, it's actually going to bring more opportunity and more creativity and bring more of the Renaissance back. It's like, nah, I don't really think that's the case.
So I
But
think we've
that's an
discussed
opinion.
this. I think we've discussed this. So I agree with you. This was proven during COVID when everyone was getting freaking stimmy checks or unemployment checks, and they sat in their ass, played video games, got drunk, did nothing. Okay, so there was not everyone. There's a percentage that actually took that opportunity and ran with it, but a very small percentage. So the same thing will happen with UBI. I agree. I think for sure I don't want car crashes with the truckers and the Uber drivers and the taxis. Freaking make them Tesla taxis, robo taxis. I'm invested in Tesla, so I'm very happy for that. That's skyrocketing
So
lately.
am I. So
Um,
am I.
but now we're going to have a problem, okay? When people have nothing, they're going to need something. Okay, so you give them a little UBI. As long as there's more opportunities to make money and do stuff, I'm totally fine with it. If you're cut off and you're going to live in a communist hellhole, but you have all your needs taken care of and you can put the chip in there and you can live every adventure you want, that might get depressing and that might be 19 or Brave New World, but they're gonna has to come a point, and I would rather have it be in USA, so we control the AI. Boom, UBI, all our citizens. The rest of the world, okay, we'll lease it out to you. We'll make money as long as there's some opportunity outside of that. Okay, they give you. If you're just stuck with the shit apartment, and the 3 meals a day, and the robo taxi, and mandatory wife or AI robot girlfriend, yeah, that's hell on earth. But if they do it decent, which I don't trust the government to do it, there's gonna be a problem.
Yeah, I mean, it's all speculation at this point. We'll find out in 10 years. I mean, we'll find out in the next 3-4 years where this is going. But I don't know if this is real, but I've been seeing it on Twitter about Tokyo or Japan now allowing immigration.
Yeah,
Have you seen that?
and their birth rates are done. They have to do something.
And literally, as they just started that, people are getting, there's already people getting stabbed on the streets. They're like ruining fucking vending machines on the streets, and like one of the safest places that you can just, leave your stuff on the counter in a coffee shop for 20 minutes and it not be stolen. Like, there's already, havoc going on in a city where it's like people have a moral code and a respect. And it's like, I need to look into that more. Maybe I'm seeing fake news, but seeing that stuff too kind of expand to places that, as we know, like Asian countries seem to have that respect and morals is also a little bit disturbing to see. If you see that stuff happening that we've been talking about with immigration in Europe, if you see that stuff happening in countries and places that are very well known for having a culture of respect, I think that is also going to be a pretty big breaking point as well, if that continues to happen. So,
Yeah, so the whole immigration topic, I lived in a lot of different homogeneous places and mixed places, okay? The biggest one in the world is probably Brazil, which I've spent 2 years of my life here. I lived in Copenhagen, Denmark, where 98% of the people are Danish people. I think as humans, okay, we are obviously not evolved enough to get past tribalism, and so forth. I believe the Danes have like transcended the individual, the family, the community. They like, care about like every Dane. There's 6 million people there. That's why I think their government works. It's democratic socialism. They're all happy to pay taxes. They're all happy to help the Danes out, and everyone's got free healthcare. And if you don't work, you get paid, and it's good life. Okay, because they all trust each other. They all want to do good for one another. Okay. In Brazil, you have one of the most low trust places in the world. You have freaking high walls with electric fences and bar or shards everywhere. Everyone's trying to get one over you. No one trusts anyone basically, and it's a very mixed place. You know, with the Europeans, a lot of different Europeans. You got the Germans, colonies down here, Italian colonies, Polish. You have the African slaves. 3 million slaves came here in the transatlantic slave trade. Indonesia's people, Dutch. I mean, freaking everyone. Now the Venezuelans, and yeah, it hasn't worked necessarily, which is fascinating because the Brazilian is so nice on the outside, you know, a facade on the street. Oh, you're my best friend. Let's go to a party, and you never speak to them again. They go back to their home with the high walls and the glass shards, and it's over. It's interesting. But anyway, so I'm saying I've lived in a lot of these different places, and I don't think the human yet has evolved past tribalism for sure. But I also see what happened in USA about and people will say, well, it was only Europeans that came here and really built it. Okay, I can see that. But we've also got Elon Musk. We've gotten some dudes from Africa and Asia that came over here, built, who's the Asian dude that built the biggest company right now? The AI chip. What's the AI chip? NVIDIA. So we have all these freaking dudes that come over here, geniuses, that buy into the ideals of USA. Okay, so USA is not together with the blood and how we look and thousands of years of history, but everyone that came here, you know, the good ones, they bought into what it means to be an American. That's how I think multiculturalism, all that can work, but it's super rare. And now we've seen the last 10, 15 years that fabric of society has torn apart. We don't know what it means to be an American anymore. Some people think this, some people say this, and it's all freaking a chaotic mess.
Yeah. I 100% agree with that. I think immigration works when you do it the right way, you do it legally, you wait your turn like you're supposed to, you understand the morals of that country that you're entering. And then a lot of immigrants even say that, you know, who did that the right way, their families did that the right way. We didn't come here raising our own flag, we came here raising the American flag once we were citizens. We were proud to be here, we were happy to be here, we were excited for the future of our country, and now that we're a part of it. I think that's the way to go about it. Now, when you let people skip the line and you give everyone participation trophies to somehow enter a country, that's when the problem starts. There is no morality, there is no values of that country that's instilled in that person. So when you have to wait the line and you have to do it the right way and you have to do it legally, that's 100% the best way to do it, in my opinion. And I think a lot of people would agree with that. But when you can skip the line and skip the line from people that are still waiting, that are trying to become citizens of a country, that becomes a problem. That becomes a divide. So, no, I mean, I agree with you on that. I think that's when it works.
Yeah, there's basically
I think
no
we've kind of
country.
moved away from that. And that's what America was 20, 30 years ago, was the melting pot. A lot of Americans love that America was a melting pot for people that did do it that way. It's what made America great. Now we're kind of getting away from that line in the sand.
There's no place on earth that you can go there, make more money than where you're from, do it illegally, and not get killed, jailed, or deported than the USA. It's insanity. You know, I can't pull up to freaking China. I was going to do something there, and I had to have some sort of degree, and then I couldn't take a Chinese job, just like in Italy. I had to have a super high work visa, that no Italians could do my job to come there. You know what I mean? And I didn't make more money there than I did in USA, right? So it's like stepping down. There's nowhere in USA, anyone in South America can go there and start mowing lawns, and for the most part, 99.9% make more money than they would back home and not get kicked out of the country. It's insanity to me. It doesn't happen anywhere else besides our place. I would love to go to Switzerland and start getting paid 10,000 euros a month for doing some average job and have every benefit to healthcare I could ever imagine, and not go to jail or not get kicked out. But I would get kicked out easily. So my solution, I've said it before, is they have to have at least 1 or 2 years of money to support themselves if they want to come to USA. Okay, so that's a decent chunk of change to cost of living in USA, and then they can only do a job that no other American can do, basically. And when that job isn't there or no American wants it, okay, boom, you take it, we get it. But that's the criteria, I think. Would it limit some super
Can't
genius
have
type people?
can't have a record
Yeah,
either.
and you get no benefits. You get no freaking benefits for at least 5 years. Okay, so you got to pay out of pocket for healthcare. You got to do all that kind of stuff. Yeah, no criminal records. If you fuck up, you're gone. You know
I
what
mean, that's
So,
normal in a lot of countries, though. Like,
pretty
even
much
if we
everywhere.
were to try to become citizens in other countries, like, that's one of the things. They do a background check on your criminal record. And if you have a criminal record, you're not considered a viable individual for them to let you into the country. And that's pretty standard everywhere, I feel like. But I wouldn't say I've done my research on that. That's just seems pretty standard to me.
Okay, Zach. Though overall, so you've been out of the country for like 7 months now, more, about 8 months. How are you viewing USA from afar? Like big mind changes. I know you were in Barcelona for how many months? 3 months?
Yeah, 4 months. Traveled
Okay.
to like 10 countries in Europe as well, and yeah.
Okay, so you had an idea, like, okay, viewing your country from afar, but now I think these are totally different lenses from Argentina, Paraguay, and Bolivia. What would you, like, some big realizations, and, how are you viewing USA now?
I mean, I don't know. I feel like we've talked about this a few times, but I don't know. You start to realizations like with what's going on currently, or just in general from the last 9 months of traveling.
Yeah, put in the current thing so it's more fresh than our last time talking about it.
Um, yeah, I mean, from what's currently happening, it does. I do feel pretty solid that I don't have to. It feels a little bit better being out of the country. I don't think America is unsafe right now. I don't think. I think in the majority of places it's still safe and it's still a good place to live. I love America, but I will say, like, being outside of the country and outside looking in, it does feel a little bit better living outside of the country right now, just not having to deal with the repercussions of, like I said earlier in this, like having to see maybe people you're close with or family members or all of that discussing things or celebrating death or having to deal with those conversations. I think that's positive. But with that as well, you kind of feel like a obligation of like, oh, you want to, if shit does pop off, you still want to be able to be a person that could voice their opinions or speak up or, protect your family if something does pop off. I don't think anything is going to pop off, but yeah, I don't know. That would be that. The second thing I've mentioned plenty of times is just the typical materialism of America. Once you're outside of the country, you're traveling with a suitcase. You can't buy things all the time. You don't need to. You don't really think about getting clothes every freaking time you go to the mall. New pair of shoes, buying a new car every year. The materialism aspect, you start appreciating what you have and the experiences and the people in your life more than the actual things that you own. So, yeah, I don't know. I would just say that's probably some of the takeaways as of right now. What would you say from your side of things? How do you feel about the current situation traveling, being outside of the country?
So last week, everyone and their mother is like, oh, we're going to crusade and enough is enough and we're going to fight and do all this. And so I put a tweet out there because I've been thinking like this for some time. And the big book that shaped the mindset was How I Found Freedom in an Unfree World by Harry Brown. And it was basically the pendulum is going to swing either way, okay? And until you've gotten your shit together, your family, your community, your state, your country, you're not going to be the one that really shifts it, okay? You can make an argument for Charlie Kirk, okay? This dude is shifting things. He's doing a lot of good work, but he built himself up. He had a family. Then he was going on his mission and doing that. So what I was saying, I was like, okay, right now a lot of people need to go to Asuncion, Paraguay. Why? Because one, if you want a freaking crusade, you can't be broke. You can't be freaking overweight. So go down there, save some money, be safe, build up a business, get some influence. You can still speak. You can still crusade on the internet from afar. The same shit you would probably be doing back home. You know, like a lot of people during COVID, they talk shit anonymously, but they stay in their house and they don't do anything. You know what I mean? They aren't in the thick of things. Or they're like the January 6 people who did do stuff. And then they went to jail for 4 years. Luckily, finally, Trump pardoned most of them. 4 years of their freaking life. And I think they have, marks on them now. They're a felony or something crazy. So is that what you want? Like, I'd rather go be happy, go build my life. And then when I have it all situated, then I start giving back and fighting. But I'm still fighting. I was fighting during COVID. I was the one freaking being free. I was being an American, traveling, not doing any of that bullshit, talking about it online, not being afraid to say anything like everyone else was saying. I didn't get vaxxed, okay? I mean, are you freaking crazy? Why would I ever do that? So you can still do that fighting from abroad while you're happy, right? The world doesn't need to change for you to be happy. It's just like the freaking crazy wacko liberals that need Palestine fixed. They need climate change fixed, every poverty eradicated, everyone has to drink clean water, and then they can be happy. It's an excuse. It's everything else has to change, and then finally I'll work on myself. Okay, you're neglecting everything that you're supposed to do for personal accountability, and it'll never get solved all these other issues. So that's my huge point to a lot of people. I've been having some vino today, so I'm a little slow in the words, but stop fucking blaming the world. You don't need the world to be happy. Dudes think, oh my God, crime has to be zero in the USA, and I can't see any colored skinned people to be happy. You can be happy either way. Like, it's not gonna figure it out.
I 1,000% agree with you. If anyone's listening to this, go ahead. I've listened to Andy Frisella, who's the owner, CEO of First Form, started 75 Hard. Go listen to any of his previous podcasts, even the most recent ones on the Charlie Kirk situation. If you want like a more like non-biased, just talking about purely the Constitution and the freedoms of America, he goes off on Trump on certain things. He goes off on the other side on certain things. That'll open up your mind to like what you should want as an American. Now with that, he also says, I completely agree with what you said, the personal excellence is the only answer to true rebellion. So instead of rebelling with anger against anger, right? Being angry and mad and sad is a low frequency state. It only creates more low frequency division. So the only way that you can, first of all, create change is focus on yourself and what you can do for yourself and your family. So personal excellence, how can I become better? How can I become more aware? How can I become more self-sufficient? And that's exactly what you're talking about. And in that sense, you have more opportunity to stand up and create change. But also don't discount speaking up. I mean, you talked about it during 2020. I think me and you were probably one of the only few people that actually spoke up that didn't get the vax, that, really kind of did our own research, said this probably isn't right for me. And so now I think people are hitting that turning point of, hey, I want to speak up now. So as you should, if there's something that you believe in, speak out on it. And also don't fall to the root of, other people that are completely on the opposite side. Like, don't give them any attention. Don't fight anger with anger. So it's like, I completely agree. Focus on yourself. Personal excellence is the true rebellion in terms of that. And that's the only way that you cannot get caught up in all the noise.
Vaxies will never be forgiven, but now's your chance. Now you can be Mr. Tough Guy and go fight.
I made a tweet, and this might be a hard take, but the people in 2020 that wanted you jailed and imprisoned for not taking the vax have had 5 years more of being disillusioned by the media. Like, those are the people that you see on the other side right now celebrating, wanting, right, fighting anger with anger. They don't have any true morality. Like, that is delusion. That's a problem. So
no, but I'm talking about the
like
Mr.
you said,
Tough freedom fighters that they need to repent and go fight now, because you were soft and you folded when it mattered most, and now you're talking tough because everyone's talking tough now. Now it's okay to talk tough. Okay, well, do something with the actual action. It's good that you're hopping on board and you're you're being Mr. Tough guy, but actually do something.
Yeah, you can't just be.
I have a point though with your personal excellence. Do you want to finish something?
No, no, go ahead.
So I watched this Argentina film the other day. It's like the most highly rated film they've came out with. I think it's A Secret in Their Eyes. The translation from Spanish is might be different. Really, really good. I don't know if it was as good as a 8.3 or whatever it's rated on IMDb. But what you're talking about fighting the anger or the revenge, or instead of personal excellence and positivity and creating your own life, etc., it's a huge theme in this book, and I can't spoil it because you need to watch it. But the ending, you will see someone that took the route of the anger and the revenge, and it's everyone else's problem, and it's messed up. Like you'll be like, "Holy crap, this is wild!" Like I probably might have done it myself. I probably would have handled it differently. But this man went psychopathic about it, and you can just see what he lost and how much time and his whole life was taken away because he focused on this vengeance mission. So I think there's a lot of people that they're dealing with, and instead of
It's a
just being happy.
self-fulfilling prophecy. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. You know, if you think about that and you're constantly angered by it, like you're not going to be a very happy human. Like when it's constantly filling your soul and your mind, it's not a good outcome either way. So
Yeah, you gotta be a Buddhist, or even Jesus talked about it, just be happy. Hakuna Matata, have faith, and it's
what
the way to go.
verse is that?
You can't be a stoic, because look at Tibet. Okay, what they did to the young Dalai Lama, and now the Chinese are playing games with it. You have to put your foot down, but you can put your foot down in ways that make you more powerful. Okay, so like Elon Musk didn't just start shooting from the tweets when he was in South Africa. He built up his stuff and he got to a position and he freaking risked it all many times. And now he's in that position to literally move. He changed everything when he bought Twitter for freedom of speech. Like, because he got to that point of working on himself to get there to finally make the move. And a lot of people skip those steps. They say, no, I'm going to be an anon with 200 followers and yell in the Twitter sphere to everyone's got to change. No, Elon did a whole different route, and now everything he does changes the world at times, So that's the point of my message.
I think there's something to say about the people that do speak out like that, like Kirk with his debates, debating anyone and everyone on college campuses. MLK, what you just say, the Dalai Lama, Elon. Like when you see them debating people and they are coming from an opposing side, it always turns to angry yells. When someone's debate, like I give all of them credit because when I see that, I could see how even annoyed I would be, someone taking an opposite side and yelling at me, and then me wanting to be louder and prouder and loud, you know what I mean? And them just being able to have the patience to sit back, take that anger, and then respond in a respectful manner. Like that takes a ton of reps, first of all, a ton of knowledge and wisdom to be able to do that. Like that is incredible. So my take would be too is like when you see people speaking out and being able to have the patience to respond in a respectful manner, like that is an incredible skill that probably 99.9% of us would not be able to do because we'd want to get our point across before letting them get their point across. But when I see these videos of Kirk doing this with all types of people, it is impressive that when he does debate them and then they freak out and run off the stage and scream at him and call him a fascist and all, it's like, I would be appalled, and so it's seeing that as well is just, it's a good realization of if you are to speak out, if you are to debate, if you are to speak up, you do have to have incredible patience and wisdom to be able to get your point across as well. So it's like, yeah, I don't know. I wanted to point that out because I keep seeing the videos of this and I'm like, oh my gosh, I would be so frustrated in this conversation. But the fact that you can have that empathy and patience to respond with wisdom is pretty cool too.
Yeah, but it also has to be of value. So that dude was monetizing things. He owned Turning Point.
Yeah.
He was making a decent chunk of change. I mean, if you count YouTube monetization, right? So speaking gigs, consulting, lobbying, he's making a ton of money. Okay, MLK, he's doing civil rights. He's got a whole group behind him. Everything's comped. He's famous, whatever. He sleeps with a lot of women. Probably was a communist, but anyways, if you're just doing this stuff to do it and you're not getting value out of it in your own personal life and developing as a person, like, why are you trying to change some people's brains? Like, if you have to deal with
Yeah.
this, okay? What I do, and it's tough, but if you keep working on it, it gets easier. You ignore it, one, or you agree and amplify, okay? So, like today, I had a reel and someone commented on there. We say oi in Portuguese. We don't say hola. This is not Spanish Brazil. And then I said, like, wrong. Every country underneath USA is a different version of Mexico. So you all speak Spanish. Right now I'm in soccer Mexico, Brazil. And you just make the person look so stupid. Like, come on, dude. Obviously,
Yeah.
hola, whatever, hi. And I said that in the video. But you do that kind of stuff to make a joke out of it, but then also put them in their place. If you react, you lose. You're the one that loses. If you get mad and angry,
Yeah.
they hit something inside of you. Like, that's just what it is. So I would say that unless you're making money off having some of these discussions with people, or you actually genuinely care, like it's your friend and you're having this kind of talk, don't even fucking deal with it. It's a waste of your time. People sit on Twitter and argue, not making any money on it, and that's their life. And they're not changing the guy's mind. You're both just saying the same shit nonstop. It's crazy.
No, I agree. I agree on that point. You can't change some of these people's minds. There is no changing their reflection on what they think. You can't change their opinions or their minds on things. So you can make your statement and prove it at that point, but don't keep giving it energy. Don't go on a 20 tweet thread trying to prove your point. Like, you're already 3 tweets in. You're not gonna one tweet or one video isn't gonna change someone's mind. But you will find, if you do speak up, you will find people that agree with you. You always will. And no matter what you say, no matter what aisle you sit on, you're always going to find people that will disagree with you. You're not going to please everyone. So don't expect to please everyone and prove everyone right.
And that's the scary thing, though, too. When you do speak out, then you start putting in bubbles, okay? Because then you start feeling like, okay, these are only people that understand me. I'm in their group, and I don't want to leave the bubble. I don't want them to push me out. So now I'll start agreeing with more crazy and crazier things, like what we're seeing with the Kirk thing. I've seen regular liberals be like, okay, no, like my people over here that run the party that are super loud are saying this is bad, so I have to say this is I don't like the Kirk guy. Like, these are people that are like, no, they would never agree with assassination, but because this is their bubble and they spoke out, they have to get on board with it, right? So you have to be very careful, because it's not easy picking apart both sides and saying shit. They're gonna hate you over here, they're gonna hate you over there, and you got to be by yourself, So
Yeah, I don't know. It's confused me for 10 years why everyone has to choose a party. I'm red or I'm blue. It's like, why do we have so much isolationism to political parties as well? Like, even if you disagree, like, you have to choose a side. I find that kind of divisive as well. But hey, you can't. Same thing. You can't change people's mind. Some people will agree with things on both sides, and then you have the super far left and far right, where no matter what, they're going to agree with their party line, or they're always going to vote their party line, even if they disagree with it. So I find that a little weird, that we've become so like split into I have to be in a party, or I have to be one side or the other. But that's what you said. Sometimes you may speak out or talk about something, and then you get put into the box, and then you're basically obligated to speak from that box, and that's who you are. So it's crazy to me. But
that's why I
what
give
do I know?
Kanye a lot of credit. I think he had the quote too. Whenever they start liking you, make them hate you. But that's a dude who is, I hate, George Bush hates black people. Oh my God, Kanye, you're the best, you're the most beautiful musician, and you're a supporter of black people. The Taylor Swift thing, and then the Trump thing, and then going on Alex Jones with Fuentes. Like, this dude, you can say he's crazy, which I think he obviously ticks different. Anyone that has that massive amount of success, and I watched the documentary. He's got issues. I think when you live in that delusional bubble for so long and reality starts happening to you, how you think, you maybe start thinking you're a god, just like his son. He says that, and but that's a dude who's done it amazingly. Like he has everyone on this side, and he says something. Oh my God, they all hate him. They usually come back to him, and the dude is always in the freaking future. Again, remember the White Lives Matter thing? That everyone's like, this guy's the craziest dude ever. Now White Lives Matter and the race stuff is going insane. Like Nick Fuentes, he brought him to the mainstream. He co-signed Nick Fuentes. Trump, I mean, he was the first black dude to really be about it. Then a bunch of black dudes started beating with him. It's crazy, that dude. It is wild. He needs to come out now. He needs to start healing the divide right now.
Wait, whoa. You think you think Kanye can help heal the divide?
I think if he comes out and speaks like, "Hey guys, I said some things, and you can say what you want about it, but I was trying to make everyone see from different sides. And right now, it's so divisive, and we need to take a step back and look at our humanity and praise God or something." I think if he did that, it would help out a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we all just need to take a day or two and just throw our phones in a cabinet and not use them a day a week, and just live our lives one day of the week and just not be on social media and not be so consumed with all the hate and divisiveness.
Well, dude, that's a problem too. Making the Wi-Fi money, and it's a great. You can go anywhere in the world and make money off the phone. But then also you start seeing your time on the phone, and it gets pretty messed up. Like I've been noticing that lately. I'm like, damn, this is an issue.
Yeah. I mean, I go on Twitter. I can just see the same stuff. It's just the same stuff over and over, just a different account. Like it's a lot. So
we need another Patagonia trip. Get rid of our phones. We need the drone though. A couple photos, and then just chill. Patagonia, Hakuna Matata.
Yeah. No, I mean, need a nice little weekend trip to some northern Brazil island where I just hang out in the hotel, enjoy the beach, no phone, just drone. Could be good. Could be good for the soul. I think everyone needs a little break.
All right, beautiful. Got anything else for me, or are you ready?
No. I think we covered a lot of bases on that one.
Wait, when are you going to be in Rio?
23rd, the night of the 23rd through the 28th. That's Sunday.
I think I'm going to go do my appointment the 2nd or 3rd of October. I got to go there. So we're going to miss each other. But you'll stop by Coritiba because now I'll officially for sure still be here by then. So you got to make a game. And then Chile. We're going to Chile.
I don't know. We'll see. I mean, it does kind of work out if I'm going to head back home.
Santiago.
In December, because Santiago or Lima has the best routes out.
Yeah, 99% sure I'm going back home too.
Wow. Bringing the lady for Christmas?
Credit cards. Banking.
Okay. Is the recording done or?
No, I'll shut up right now. Everyone else, live bold.